Last week, Ola Electric's shares saw a 3 day slump after the Consumer Protection Authority asked the company for more documents for its investigation against it. This came after the authority received thousands and thousands of complaints by consumers. Now, you may think this is regular. I mean, about the shares. They go up and they go down. But for Ola Electric, this is a matter of extra concern. Now, for context, the company went public in August last year at a debut price of 76 rupees. And while we've heard of many startups that went public last year, Ola Electric's story is a bit different. It is the only startup that went public at a lower price. In his newsletter, The Nutgraf, my colleague Praveen Gopalakrishnan said that it was a bold decision that actually paid off for Ola Electric. You see, when startups go for an IPO, it becomes clear that most of the value has actually already been extracted when it was private. And this leaves little for public investors. If I showed it to you as a graph, you would see a sharp fall in growth after a company goes public. And this is a usual trend. But Ola Electric managed to dodge it. And it can be largely attributed to its decision to list at a lower valuation. Essentially, a down round from the last time that it raised money from investors. At the time, Bhavesh Agarwal, the CEO of Ola Electric, suggested that the company wanted the stock to be attractive to new investors. But not everybody bought this argument. In fact, my colleague Anand Kalyanaraman was not convinced at all, and he even wrote about how there are more opportunistic reasons why Ola Electric did this. Anyway, despite its motivations, there is one thing that most investors and analysts agree with. Ola Electric got the IPO pricing right. The stock price shot up after the IPO, and everybody was pleasantly surprised. Ola Electric showed everyone that it was possible for startups to list at a lower price and then provide a pop for everyone. And this is exactly why Ola Electric's falling share prices below its listing price is a matter of concern. Welcome to Daybreak, a business podcast from the Ken. I'm your host Nigdha Sharma, and I don't chase the news cycle. Instead, every day of the week, my colleague Rahil Philippos and I will come to you with one business story that is worth understanding and worth your time. Today is Monday, the 20th of January. Falling below the listing price has messed up the one thing that Ola Electric got right. And this has some challenging consequences for the company. It is now going to be much harder for it to raise capital, either through equity or through debt. Raising capital is going to face resistance from existing investors, and equity is going to be more expensive. And let's not forget, we are talking about a company that is quite far from profitability. It will need to raise capital for a while. Until around the end of last year, Ola Electric's way of doing this was to always make optimistic proclamations about its future, profits, sales, and new products. All of this drove up excitement and interest, which again drove up its stock price. But one really silly incident actually changed this. You remember the online war of words between comedian Kunal Kamra and Bhavesh Agarwal? It was on X. It was honestly quite petty and you would not give it much thought, but it actually changed something fundamental. You see, the focus shifted away from Ola Electric's products, profits, and sales to its service. Now, no company wants to talk about its service because companies can almost never win the service narrative. Because sales is based on the company's past performance. Service, meanwhile, depends on a flawless, ideal performance that is, when the company makes all its customers happy. Even one dissatisfied customer keeps this narrative going. So, Ola Electric's pitch to new customers basically is, listen, forget about internal combustion bikes that you have been buying for the last 5 decades and switch to our all new cool electric bikes instead. But now, this is not going to work anymore. It has to say something less catchy, like, we fixed 99.1% of the problems that the consumer body reported to us. Or we brought in Ernst and Young to fix our service problems. There are also other implications that are actually already playing out. Like, there is going to be way more scrutiny on Ola Electric, not just from business media, consumer protection bodies, but from government entities who actually wield real power and are important for Ola Electric's future. It's received a warning from the market regulator SEBI already, and then there is the ongoing Consumer Protection Body's investigation. When the Consumer Protection Body asked Ola Electric for more documents on the company for its probe last week, it had a direct impact on Ola Electric's share prices. They fell. See, it's not like we're saying there is going to be some massive action against the company. We are talking more about scrutiny, which, as we are seeing, it is proving to be detrimental to Ola Electric. But, like Praveen wrote, so what? How does any of this matter? The fortunes of companies go up and down all the time. Ola Electric's stock price was up for a few months, now it is down. It had great sales. In a few months, it will get its service sorted, and then Agarwal will be back online shouting victory. He may even do an interview with a sympathetic media outlet explaining how hard the ordeal was and how little he slept. But Praveen says there are two specific reasons why this current situation will cost Ola Electric dearly. And he believes neither of them are cyclical or easily reversible. Stay tuned. The first reason why all of this may cost Ola is that this has wasted Ola Electric's huge advantage, which was its market share. For many quarters, Ola Electric was the market leader. Between April and September last year, though, the company's market share almost halved. Again, this is not an existential threat for Ola Electric, and it's not like the company will disappear, but it has given away a big advantage. Now it is forced to overinvest in service and underinvest in new products and sales. And this is going to cost the company dearly and will set it back. Finding new customers is going to be much harder. And the damage is incalculable, and it will take much longer for Ola Electric to come back to where it was earlier. And the second reason is actually Bhavish Agarwal, the CEO himself. The company's fortunes, you see, are intricately tied to him and his perception in the public. And in the long run, that cannot be a good thing for investors. Until now, all that he has declared in public about his company came across as studied, orchestrated, whether it was launching products like Krutim or fighting imaginary battles with Google Maps. Investors understood all of this. This personality made sense to them. But ever since the camera incident, there is a marked change. Like on Christmas, when Bhavish Agarwal launched a gold plated version of Ola Electric scooter and posted it on Twitter, people immediately started making digs and raising questions about the company's shabby customer service. Like Praveen said in his newsletter, if Bhavish Agarwal's veneer has cracked, well, maybe one interpretation is that things are worse than they appear at Ola Electric.
Daybreak is produced from the newsroom of The Ken, India's first subscriber-focused business news platform. What you're listening to is just a small sample of our subscriber-only offerings. A full subscription unlocks daily long-form feature stories, newsletters, and podcast extras. To subscribe, head to theken.com and click on the red subscribe button on top of the Ken website. Today's episode was hosted by Snigdha Sharma and edited by Rajiv CN.